The top 3 soft skills every project manager needs in order to succeed. Let's dive into what those skills are. Hi everyone, my name is Max Mao. I'm a PMP certified project manager with years of experience in project management work. So these are the top 3 soft skills that I've used throughout my career that have been super helpful. Let's dive into those. So the first skill number 1, is the ability to be empathetic, having empathy. With any deal or project, it's imperative that you understand what your client needs and where your client's needs are coming from. Whether that's the internal pressures of your client's own roles or their responsibilities and their fears. Taking the time to better understand what these pressures are that your client is facing can pay huge dividends down the long road. With clients that I work with, I always try to understand them as people. And people have emotions, people have their own fears. By understanding what their fears are and by understanding what their responsibilities are, you can set yourself and your client up for more success. Through experience, I've learned that a good partnership is when the client has their expectations and their goals aligned with your expectations. So it's a collaborative effort. A great partnership is when your client claims more responsibility and champions the partnership. Now, what I mean by this distinction is when your client is openly telling their colleagues, telling multiple members of their team about what they're doing with you, that means that you've made a huge impact that goes way beyond the project itself. You know you've done a great job as a project manager when your client is the one that's marketing and spreading the good news. We always love to hear that. The second soft skill that every project manager should have is the ability to be adaptable. This may be pretty straightforward information to those who have already had project management experience, but to start at ground zero for those who have not, being adaptable or being agile is one of the best skills that a project manager can have. No matter how much effort you've put into creating a project plan, no matter how much effort you've put into understanding all the factors that can impact your project, the nature of project management is you will never know all the details 100% of the time. Doing your due diligence is always really important, but what's even more important oftentimes is being able to pivot on the fly when changes happen. For example, if you're working with a software company and you're implementing a new system to your client, sometimes you may not have all the details as to what the software requirements are. Sometimes you don't know what exactly has already been established, what workflows have already been done by your client and their team. It's important that you keep these notes down, you record them, and you make sure that you get that information down the line. One of the most important skills that come with adaptability is being able to pivot on the fly in real time or logging these things as risks or potential unknowns. That is so valuable when running a project because when a project runs into a roadblock or when the project finishes up, it's always good to look back to see the historical progress of what happened and what lessons learned can be passed on to your teammates. The third key soft skill that a project manager should have is great communication skills, not only verbally, but written as well. Why is communication so important? Communication is arguably the most important skill that a project manager can have. You're constantly communicating not only with your internal team members, but with your client stakeholders as well. That communication is just as important as getting the tasks done. To a lot of new project managers, this can kind of sound like a surprise. Everyone knows a project manager is responsible for tracking timelines, for making sure things get done, for making sure project milestones get hit. On top of that, arguably equally as important is making sure that when a project task is done, people are aware of that and people know that it's happening. If a task is done and no communication has been sent out, that's not really doing anyone any good use because for all everyone else knows, that assignment or that task may not be done. Having good communication skills and defining what the communication structure is, not only with your internal team, but also with your client stakeholders, it can save you miles and miles of work ahead. The reason for this is, if your team members and if your client stakeholders are always in the loop, they will not have to ask you all the time about what's going on. These updates that you're providing them, it can save additional meetings, it can save additional bandwidth, and it can overall save additional time for everyone. A lot of the most escalated issues that I've been a part of, they have all manifested from communication or the lack thereof. In summary, The top 3 soft skills that a project manager can have, not only in 2023, are number 1, to have the ability to be agile, to be adaptable, being able to pivot in different environments and having a cool level head throughout that. Number 2 is having good communication skills, making sure that you're keeping your stakeholders and your team accountable and in the loop at all times. And last but not least, making sure that you truly take the time to understand your client and their needs. Having empathy can go a long way with not only making your life, but also your client's life easier as well. Anything that you can do to help your client out, it overall creates a greater partnership for both parties. On that note, thanks for tuning in. Comment down below what are some of your soft skills that you use.